Well, hello, my fellow Bavarians, and welcome once again to Watch and Win, Learn and Earn. All right. Sorry to have started late, but they give me some restrictions. For some reason, Facebook is telling me we're not going to allow you to tag for reasons or something. They give me a hard time. I don't think I'm doing anything hard with my group. But in any case, I'm glad that you will make it because they don't allow me to tag, he says. So I don't know what happened, but I'm glad to see some of you here already. Welcome once again, my fellow Bavarians. We're going to spend an evening here talking about the name of the Lord is a strong tower. And so this is number 6 in the series of BLM, the Builder's Laws Matter. That's my way of referring to the Torah, the teachings overtly rendering altruistic humans, because that's what it does. If you understand the mindset of your father, you become the most selfless human being upon the face of the earth, ready to help your fellow man the drop of a hat at any moment, because that's your desire to express him at all times constantly. And also the LGBT quota, the let God be true quota must be established, therefore, because the Torah is the inheritance for the mindset that we were made to have. All right, so here I have. Now let me go here to my main office to greet you guys before I start. All right, see, some of you have come. I have a little background going there of the little Aleph Beth, that I'm referring to, the simulation of the Aleph Beth in the background. As you can see, we have that going on. That's why I like to use this background now, because you can see. I began to explain that in the last, how that if you understand the alphabet as a pictorial, you'll begin to see that everything is manifested, because I explained to you that the picture of Father, Aleph Beth, is the leading or the main house, okay? The main house of the place, and that means that a father's function is to supply your needs and supply your comforts, and so the Bible has a way of looking at things like that, but now we have these economies of, the one you can see out there in the window, all the man-made products, that need the manpower to exist, to be built up and what have you. But prior to that, also David used to say, if you read a quick reading of Psalm 19, will have you see, it says, the heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament showeth for his handiwork. And then he talks about how the sun comes out of the tabernacle, comes out of they call it the bride chamber, the bridegroom coming out of his chamber. It refers to the sun. So he's looking at the Torah there in the first half of chapter 19, and he's referring to how it goes and it warms the earth. All these sun rays, bring things to life, because that's the energy that brings life to the earth. And then the other half of the chapter, he explains it about how the law of the Lord is perfect, converting the soul. The testimonies of the Lord are sure, making, wise the simple. And it talks all about how the Dabar, all right? That's why I call you the Davarians, because the Davarian is the structure by which God communicates himself, which is word in English for the word Dabar. So he talks about that and talks about the Torah being that, and so he identifies it with the things in creation. Okay, but now if you and I, learning the alphabet, as you see there, back here, you can see the alphabet behind me on the screen there, on the little screen that I have there. And so you can see there, the Aleph is for strength, the Beth is for the house, and Gimel is for career or your pathway in life. Dalet is for the door, the gates of administration. Hey is for animation, and Vav, as you see all the way there on top, for connections. And we go on. So when you look in the picture, because God wants to make us understand the purpose that he made us is for us to be in the way that he thinks, and in the way that he feels, and in the way that he is. In other words, how is the way that he wants to reveal himself? And he says it by the Aleph Beth. Aleph Beth introduces the Father right away, all right? And so we can see that. So every compartment, like I was explaining the last time, everything that can encase you, that can take you in and supply you some sort of needs, some sort of comforts, okay, that is the picture of the Aleph Beth. And it seems that we are all programmed to go after those things. Cars are compartments that can supply you pleasure and supply your needs. and therefore they qualify for the function of a father, because that's the function of a father. The Bible is interested in the function. So we saw that, and that's how almost everything is. An industry that is created to make something, that's a strong tower, and that's the name of God, the strong tower. I will show you in a minute, from Proverbs 18:10. The name of the Lord is a strong tower. The righteous run into it and they are safe. The name of the Lord is a strong tower. The righteous run into it and are safe. And so the way God wants to be known upon the earth is as a father. Because once you inherit the position of a father, you don't want to take anything from your children. A father or a mother, once you're in a position to be like that, you want to make sure that your children have way better things than you ever did. You never want to be in the mindset of taking anything away from them. You want to equip them to be at their best and to do their best, and then to provide them with all the necessary tools that they need to be able to be upstanding citizens. And then you also want to give them everything, all your inheritance and all your knowledge, all your possession, all your skills. You want to make it available and put them at their disposal. So that's basically what it comes down to. So we understand that this is what's happening, right? So that's the whole idea. God wants to present himself and manifest himself here as the father and mother of all creation. Because, we were made in his image, male and female made he them, so we combine together and we are able to create that portrayal, that function, okay? So the interesting thing, that's how he wants to present himself, as a father, okay, as the Aleph Bet. And that's what he's trying to transfer to us, that mindset, so that we will be in it. So therefore, everywhere that we are in this world, the world will be safe with our presence, because we're not there to take anything from anybody. We are there to enrich them and to make them strong and to make sure that they lack nothing, okay? So that's a title that God wants us to be, because that's the heart that he wants us to acquire. But he wants us to be a father and a mother, 2 words, okay? Because God understands that the only reality there is, the only reality bar none, is a wholesome word. Because a wholesome word, everybody that acts in the capacity of a creator, they know that the reality of the business lies in the wholesome word that is become a pattern or it become a manual of instruction and is accompanied by a mission statement. So they hold on tight to the pattern. They have a strong, secure house that administers that. That's an Ahad, strong, secure house of strong, secure administration. That's the patent office. They hold the exclusivity rights, for you to own that intellectual property, and they don't let anybody take it away from you, because that's your baby. So all the creators in this world, everybody that acts in the capacity of being an entrepreneur, creator, or a writer or a copywriter or anything, they hold onto their words. They might want you to share them if you want to do something for them, but they don't let you have ownership of that. All right? Because they only let you have the things that are come out of the earth, the shapes that are come out of the dust, for you to have comfort with those things, but never the word, because the word is the reality of their business. So that's what it is with the Father. So if you and I were to inherit that, and he wants to communicate his mindset, he wants to communicate the way he embraces his children and wants to give them everything, so they will always be in the abundance of all he's given and all his care. If that's what he wants, then all you're going to need to acquire is his mindset to understand his character and be in sync with him and be able for him to be able to flow out of you. And you're going to be having that constant intimacy with him as he flows out of you. You're going to be sitting still and watching all that he does in you, because you're completely open to how he feels and how he likes to do things, okay? And that's the fellowship that we're called to have in the here and now. So I'm sharing these things today with you, to make you understand this and to make you enter into this mindset, okay? One thing that I wanted to mention the last time also, it was that as I was speaking the last time, I was thinking there's another way, and also because we're talking about compartments, you're inside of a place where all your needs are supplied and also all your comforts are given. So that's a picture of what constitutes a father. So guess what? After I finished talking to you that day, that same moment, I thought that it's very interesting, but something that I have not thought about before, but it's actually true. The because remember, the name of a father means a strong tower, a strong compartment, a strong house, or the main house where you can live and have all your needs be supplied and all your comforts be given, right? And also, what is the name of a mother? Strong solutions. Aleph M, which means strong solutions. Okay? Because she has the solutions for everything that happens inside the house. She is the solver. She's the think tank of what needs to happen, how the house needs to be managed. The father provides the place and the comforts and everything. He brings home the bacon. Mom cooks it. Mom prepares it. Mom administers everything in the house. She is the strong solutions. Okay, but the interesting thing that I was thinking, this is something for you to take to heart. How we start with a picture of the father and the mother from the very moment of conception. Because to be inside of a womb, to be inside of that bag, as a baby, that is a tabernacle. That's a compartment there that supplies all of your needs and all of your comforts as you're inside the womb. So from the very beginning, you're in a main house, in a main compartment. But there's also the strong solutions, right? The water in which the baby is floating and is being formed and developed. That's the mother. So you have, in the beginning, from the very beginning, you have the Aleph Beth, the main house in which you are being taken care of, and the mother is within because she's the strong solutions, the water in which the baby is swimming. Okay? She's swimming, and the strong solutions, that's the mom, and the compartment, the womb, that's the father. So the father and the mom are there, the picture of it, in the Hebrew alphabet. You see the beauty of it? So when you understand the pictorial, you understand that God is so careful to make everything, even the things that came out of the dust, reflect what he's trying to give us, his mindset. That tender care is there from the very beginning. That picture of who he is, providing our needs, supplying everything that we need. From the womb is like the tabernacle, like the strong house, the main house that supplies all your needs and comfort. And there are the strong solutions, the liquid inside in which the baby is growing and developing. So it's no wonder that the first thing that the baby comes out saying is ba ba ba, A and B, a bunch of times. The easiest thing to flutter the mouth or am. So that's the easiest thing for the baby to say before we even tell him to say anything. Whenever it's blah blah blah, mom. So they say father and mother because they are embraced in the father and mother from the very beginning. The soul comes from the father, that's made all creation into an environment that reflects what the function of a father and mother is. So no wonder that's the first words that the baby says. He says the word father and mother in Hebrew because Ab is father, Am is mom. Okay? So a baby automatically says those words without even teaching them. So he comes speaking Hebrew because that's the language of the father. Okay? So it's right there. So that's a little point of of good meditation that will allow you to see, how beautiful that is, to have that understanding and to be able to see that from the very perspective. So from the very beginning, from the moment of conception, we are put in an environment of the main house, which is the picture of the father womb that is going to supply all your needs and comforts. And there, you're going to be in that water, those strong solutions that we're going to be able to see that you're fully developed into what you need to become. And so the idea is that once you are born into this world, okay, then you inherit, when you go in and you inherit your own family, you realize that as a father, you got to provide the place, you got to provide the real estate. As a mother, you also have to be there for your children at any moment, and she's usually the one that, stays late up at night watching that nothing happens to them, while the father has to go off to work, but there is the picture there, it's still going on. But when you go out to the workplace, you're going to be to take care of the children of Adam and Eve, of all your brothers and sisters that came out from Adam and Eve, or Noah when the ark, from the 8 that came out of the 8 with Noah and the total of 8 that came out of the ark. When you go to take care of the health, you have to go become a father and a mother to wholesome words. You go to a company to get the meaning and definition of a wholesome word of a job or any product and service, and then you become a father and a mother to it. You give the meaning and definition which I call the mom and the dad, right? You give the meaning and definition to each word. They give it to you, and you sustain that for each word. So that's all you keep. Meaning and definition, because that's the mom and the dad of a word, of a wholesome word. Because it is only the wholesome word that allows you, to be able to have that business or that product or that program or that menu and everything they have to give out. So it is the wholesome word that is the reality of everything. And God knows that. And people that own companies, they know that. Okay? So then you have to become that to the whole world. You inherit that, so you become a strong tower because you are part of an industry that is supplying comforts, and is supplying the needs either for entertainment or for, pleasures or whatever. So you become this also in your company. You inherit, when you have a wholesome word, that you work for a company and that company is sending those products in all the places in the world, then you become a part of a bigger picture of the other path of a father, because you work for a company that is doing supplying needs for the whole world, internationally, what have you. Any company, anybody can come and get products from them. Then you're part of a big house. So that's everything. That's how it is. You begin in the Aleph Beth in the womb, okay. Then you have to grow up and get. You become an Aleph Beth to your own family that comes out of you, and also you have to work for a company that you inherit the care of a word, and you give it the meaning and definitions to keep it a wholesome word, and therefore you are part of a big Aleph Beth, a big business, which usually they have a strong tower, in which people work in that strong tower. So everything, you cannot escape the Aleph Beth, you cannot escape the picture. All right, so it's all over. You're surrounded by it. So that's one thing so it's the whole thing. If you're in the function of things because you're a creator, then you're able to see that, okay? So, but the only thing that enables you to enjoy, to enter into the mindset of the Father and stay there at all times, understanding that is your only true heritage, because that's the only true heritage of God the Creator. God doesn't create, He doesn't need anything that has been formed in the dust. You understand? He knows how to make them, how to shape them, and then He begins to display the way He loves, the way He cares, and because we are the Neshama, He breathed into us, He gave us the holy kiss by breathing in life into us. That life is made in His image, wants to portray all His character, and needs to be in sync with Him at all times, okay? And so that's what we're going to be talking a little bit of right now. I'm going to give you a little bit more understanding of that. Let's see how we're doing over here. All right, let me see, because I got you guys here on the side of my screen to see who's here. All right, Brian, Andy, I see all of you, Rosa, all of you, Barefoot. All right, okay, the usual suspects, okay. Well, it's good to have you guys, all right. Now, I'm going to go down on this screen so I can show you what's next here. I'm going to go down to the next screen here on the observatory. So as you can see in the background, we can see all the different pictures of the Aleph Beth. That's the compartments, cars, buildings, houses, all the compartments that supply, comforts and supply your needs and provide you comforts. That's a picture of the Aleph Beth. So we have it from the very beginning of conception. We keep living in that thing. So it's, all the economies of the world have that. But the thing is, if you go into this world of the simulated Aleph Beth, where I call it the Aleph Beth Landia, they try to simulate everything that is the alphabet, the original alphabet of God. You can be busy in it, you can be surrounded by it because you're inside of a building and all that, but you are never really instructed that you have to remain in that mindset. Because most people that work for 8 hours, they have to be only holding on to words, no products and services, because those are for the customers. You're not a consumer there, you're a producer there. So for 8 hours of the day, because if you have a job, you're asked to just hold on to words and behave in the character of the Aleph Beth, of the character of the Father, a provider, a producer, all of that. But then the rest of it, you want to be a consumer, because the rest of the world just trains you to be in the mind of not the Father, but of being against who the Father is, of being consuming everything else that is in the world. And that is something that I was sharing yesterday from this thing from the Kabbalah that talks about the creature has the will to receive, while the Father, the Creator, has the will to bestow, which is the will to give. And that's all that the Creator really has, because He has the understanding and knowledge how everything is put. The DNA is His creation. He knows all of that. That's all He has. So then once he sends it, they start to function. So he doesn't hold on to the things. He just makes sure that the word that he gives is what he treasures, or he holds on to words. And that's what we're going to have to do. Just develop a love for words and the order of words, and just be caretakers of everything that comes along our way. Just learn to enjoy that. All right. I'm going to show you here a little verses to get us into the mindset to understand a little further today. Now, here I am looking. Now, this is the verse here. Let me get it close here. Okay, here we go. Proverbs 18:10 says, "The name of the Lord is a strong tower." The name of the Lord is Aleph Beth. Strong is the head of the ox, right? And tower is a house, Beth. So the name of the Lord, this is from Solomon. Okay, Solomon wrote this. It says that the name of the Lord is a strong tower. The righteous, or the tzaddikim, those that have the right path of desires, the tzaddik for the journey of the desires, those that have their desires line up with the desires of God, those are the righteous, the tzaddikim. Those are have the desires lining up with the desires of God, run into it, and is safe, and they are safe. Where are you safe from? You are safe from becoming anything else but the father of this world. Because the whole idea is to have the Father in you so that you will become a father to this world. If you're not, in the Aleph Beth, the strong tower, and instructed by the Aleph Beth by the right teachers, because a lot of teachers don't know this, by the way. It's so sad to say, but that's not the case, And therefore, you acquire that mindset, so at all times, 24/7, your joy is the words that makes you useful to your fellow men. So you're always in the situation of learning. I don't know if you noticed, but when I started doing this thing with this COVID-19 man, I was all over the place on the screen. I was trying to use my little skills that I had at the time just to try to run this COVID-19 man group. And then my friend Brian saw that, there was a program that I could use. He told me about it. I went and found out, downloaded it, learned to use it on one Sunday. And I started just getting my little sharper on it, and then learn how to use the green screen so that you can see all the backgrounds. Behind me there's only a green screen, but you can see everything else because this program has a way of setting everything up like that. So now you can see that I can set up everything. I learned how to do commercials for this program. I learned how to do all these things because I'm always constantly learning. That's just my hobby. Okay, I'm always just learning, and so that's why, to me, the greatest library ever created, which is YouTube, and all the instructions that it gives you, I'm not going to let that go to waste. I'm always learning something from there. How to put this together, how to handle this. Everything is in there. I mean, that's the greatest library ever made, And so I find it fascinating. I ain't about to leave that, behind. I'm going to use it to the best of my ability. So it says, the name of the Lord is a strong tower. It's what the Father function, of being a place in which you supply care and comforts to everybody that is under you. All right? The righteous, those whose desires are lined up, they run into it and they're safe. They're safe from never having to be instructed by no one else on how to be in the Father and how to be a father to all. Because that's the purpose for which we were made. You understand? And so, to give you a better understanding of this, I'm going to read also from this here. Let me go here. I'm going to read you this Genesis 45 verse 8. Okay, let me see if I can get it a little closer here. Here we go. Yeah, Genesis 45 verse 8. What does it say there? Okay, Genesis 45 verse 8. It says, "So now," this is Joseph talking, by the way. Joseph had met his brothers, and he was explaining to them because they were feeling guilty that they had sold him, and he ended up there in Egypt, right? And so he just told them to calm him down. "So now it was not you that sent me hither, but God." And then he says something interesting. He says, "And God," that is not he, he's referring to God, "he had made me a father," an Aleph Beth, a strong tower, that's a father Aleph Beth, "to Pharaoh, and Lord of all his house, and a ruler throughout all the land of Egypt." And what is it? The only thing that Joseph held on to? The words and the revelations that God gave him. You know, when he reveals the dream, he reveals the things because he's the manager of all creation. That's what he held on to. Okay? So that's all. And just for holding the words, he was trusted to be a father. But the interesting thing that that Joseph here did not say, you know, he made me like a prime minister or anything. A father wasn't a position that Egypt gave, you know, like the title of a father. Okay, you can become a father of the land. That wasn't a title that was given by Egypt. You know, they didn't have a title of calling a leader a father. That's not there. But father was something that Joseph understood from the Aleph Bet. That the object is for us to be in the father and to become a father to the nations. Okay, so he understood from the Aleph Bet that that's what God had made him. He was at the highest. He was a father because what he had provided, the solution that he had provided to Pharaoh, you know, was taking care of Egypt, or Mizraim. Mizraim is Egypt in the Hebrew. So understand that. Therefore, he's saying he's recognizing something that God made him become. Okay, so he inherit the reason for what he was created. He realized that he was exercising. He was living at the highest. At the highest peak of your life is just to be, and he was 24/7 the father of Egypt because he was, you know, he was equivalent to the prime minister, what you call the prime minister now in England or something like that. That was more or less something of a title that they have. You know, my right hand man. That's what Pharaoh will call it. You're my right hand man. You don't handle my business for me. You know, but he himself saw what he had become. He was a provider of all the supply because he was building their storehouses to collect the grain and all of that stuff. You know, so he was giving all the rulership, and he was saving many nations because the famine was throughout the whole earth there. Now, when a lot of countries were coming to get food from Egypt at that time. So he was explaining all of that. So the thing that he gives himself the title of a father, that's what I want you to notice, okay? Now, one thing that you need to remember also is that the word Pharaoh, okay, the word Pharaoh is an Egyptian word. It just means, the word Pharaoh means big house. That's the meaning of it to begin with. It just means the big house, okay? And so also the word Pharaoh means Aleph Bet. Because the Egyptians, that's what they call it. The big house was called Pharaoh and the person that would run that house, you know, end up being called by the name of the house, end up being called Pharaoh later on. So even the Egyptians, without recognizing, they also use the Aleph Bet, you know, because people lose sight of the meanings, you know, once they get used to the sound of it. But Pharaoh means a big house, you know, and so the person that was associated with leading the house, he took on the title of the house, like, you know, like Pharaoh. So he was the big house because he was the guy running the big house. But that's originally what Pharaoh means, big house. So also the word Pharaoh means Aleph Bet, you know. So what does it show here? That the God of Abraham, the one that gave the Torah, the one that gave the Hebrew, who was in Joseph, because he has done his bar mitzvah already. You know, he has, by the age of 12, the Jewish people already have become the son of the command, because that's the idea. You inherit the word, you live in the word, and now you understand the word, and you're there for the word. Bar mitzvah, which is the equivalent of baptism in other religions, or your first communion in other religions. Bar mitzvah means bar mitzvah, is son or daughter of the commandment. You're born. That's why they call themselves the people of the book, because they live for the book, they live for the commandment. So the bar mitzvah is that celebration that you become the son. So he already has done his bar mitzvahs. Like he was faithful in that, so he was only keeping the word. Wherever he went, he was able to interpret dreams because he understood the connections. I'm sure he had the knowledge of the reception, the Kabbalah that Abraham knew, and he understood how to connect things. Because it's a beautiful knowledge. I'm not understanding how to connect a lot of things now. But in any case, so he got all of that. So the fact that he declared himself father of Pharaoh, he was saying that the father that revealed to him, he was declaring his lordship over the house, over the strong house of Pharaoh. Because Pharaoh means a strong, big house. So what Joseph was saying in this statement is, I have become a father to this house. So then he was just stating that the house that Egypt represents was lower. than the house that he represented, the strong tower. So he was just exalting God in that statement. A lot of people that don't understand the Hebrew, they not just poof, went over their head. Didn't realize what Joseph just did. But in that passage, when he's saying in there that he has made me a father to Pharaoh, so he has made me a strong house to the big house. So it means that house is inside of me. I control the house. I manage that house because I have the strong tower. I have the knowledge of the Father, which is the reason for which I was made. I am in it. So he realized, because at the time, Egypt was the greatest nation that supplied everything to the world, was the greatest nation, that was admired by all. So he became the father, the supplier of care and comforts for it because of the alphabet that was in him, the original Torah. So that's the whole idea. So that's the thing is, once you are in the alphabet and that's all you keep, God allows you, to become one that provides guidance and therefore provides supplies and supplies comfort to a whole nation. Who else was like that you can think of right off the top of your head? Who else went into exile, trying to give you some hints here, and also was able, where in that nation, to become a leader and to tell the king what he needed to do to take care of his business and to make sure that his life was not destroyed or that his dominion was not taken away from him. If you can think a little bit, right away you'll say Daniel, because Daniel went to Nebuchadnezzar and he was the one guiding everything afterwards, because Nebuchadnezzar recognized that the spirit of the gods was in him. So he was trusted. And so Daniel ran like 3 empires, the Persian Empire, the Babylon. All these kings ended up trusting his advice. So he was being used by God in the capacity of a father to those empires. And he is from the Davidic kingdom. He's from the line of David. Hezekiah is from the seed of David. Daniel is from the seed of David. Okay, all of these people. So they had this alphabet, the heart. They have grown. That is our inheritance for you and I. We are trained. We are told from the very beginning, from the time we are born, that we are in the alphabet, and we are even in the strong solutions. Okay. Then we go our own family, and we become the alphabet and to provide and to marry the strong solutions that will be there. And then, when we go to work in the company, for our company and everything, we are told to join a company that is an alphabet to all the nations because they supply products, and you have to join him in that mindset just by inheriting the words. And so everything is there. So at the end, what's the whole point of doing that? So at the end, you will join in the alphabet 24/7. Okay? And it will not be like a show, because you will realize, okay? Because the moment that you know that the only way that any business is kept or any product is kept and is renewed and restored is just by people knowing the full definition and meaning of those words. If people do not know that, everything crumbles. Nothing continues to exist. The consumer has nothing to offer for the renewal and existence and innovation of everything. He's only there to eat it all away. So you have to be the mindset of the father, but you got to become a father and mother to words, because you want to have the words full of meanings and definitions so they can get to execute everything that a wholesome word can do. Because a wholesome word that makes you a producer reveals the character of the other path in you. And that's what you want. And that's the whole thing that drives you. That's the main thing that concerns you. So that's what I wanted to tell you about that, to understand that. So God made him a father, because that's the whole purpose of God giving you the alphabet, is to express himself. Made him a father. So he saw the role that he was displaying, even though that was not a title that Egypt gave, or Mishraim is Egypt. Therefore he realized that he was doing that. And then okay, now let me show you something here in Deuteronomy 1:35. It says, "Surely there shall not one of these men of this evil generation see that good land which I swear to give unto your fathers, save Caleb the son of Jephunneh. He shall see it, and to him will I give the land he had trodden upon, and to his children, because he had wholly followed the Lord." Okay, now we're gonna look. I'm gonna take you to the sword of the Lord, which is behind this thing here. Let me see. Yeah. Okay, let me. All right. Okay, let me see here. All right, here we go. All right, I'm doing fine here. Now let me. Okay, let me take this to the back. See me understand here. The strong tower. All right, and then. Okay, let me put this window cap up top. There we go. That's because I wanted to put this one here. Now let me put this. Perfect. Okay, let me look at this right now, and I'll show you from the book of because Deuteronomy. All right, we're gonna look at this, Deuteronomy chapter 1, and I'm going to show it to you in. I'm going to lower this in like that. Verse 35. Okay, let me put it with the. I'm going to put it with because we're going to look at something. I want to reveal something to you right now. You know, a little deep stuff, but it's good for you to find out. You know, why everything is for the here and now. I make it very clear. So let's go to verse 35 because that's the thing I was reading earlier. Verse 35. All right. Okay, verse 35. Let me get here. 35. Put it all the way to the top. Okay, so you guys can see it. Verse 35, 35, 35. There we go. All right. Verse 35. Surely there shall not one of these men of this evil generation see that good land which I swear to give unto your fathers. Okay. Now, one thing I want you to understand is he was talking about Caleb and the people, because Caleb is the one that talks about next. He is the one that gave a good report, and so he was going to see the land. Okay. So, but he's talking about that evil generation, the ones that did not believe what God said and gave a bad report that they're giants in the land, you know, or the people that, you know, that discouraged the people of Israel. They were not acting in the, you know, in the heart of a father. A father does not bring fear to the children. You know, no matter how bad the situation is, the father and the mother there, it's going to be okay, son. You know, don't worry about it. You know, things are going to work out all right. You don't discourage and make the children all scared and everything like that. You know, so they were supposed to have an attitude like that, you know, to bring good news. You know, hey, God brought us to the ocean. We beat up Pharaoh. This nation is going to be nothing, you know. Even though they saw that they were big and giants, you know, they should have remembered that God had been doing all the work. So they should have brought a good report, like a good parent. No, but they were scaring the children. So God was upset with them. Okay? So they did not behave like a father. They did not encourage the people. Okay? Except Caleb. So Caleb was going to get an inheritance. But here in the verse 35, so he says, surely there shall not one of these men of this evil generation, evil because they did not display, that was the evil, that they did not display the heart and the concern of a father to the nation. So that's why they were evil, right? And then he says, but look at this thing, this evil generation see, or, you know, get to Ra, was to watch. And then it says that, but this thing I want you to see, this letter here, and this H853, which I'm pointing at right now, the H853, that means the first letter of the Hebrew alphabet and the last letter, just Aleph Tab. So it's pronounced Et. But it means the Aleph Tab. Or you can say from A to Z if you wanted to translate it into English. The alphabet of the English starts with an A and finishes with a Z. So from A to Z. And so it says here, apparently contracted from H226, as you can see what it is at, the demonstrative sense of entity, properly self, but generally used to point out more definitely the object of a verb or preposition, even or namely, and then it says this at the end, as such and represented in English. So this little thing here. I want to show you something because a lot of people, even scholars that go, you know, to learn Hebrew, they don't explain this to them. But this little thing that says A to Z or Al, Aleph to Tab appears 7,302 times in the Tanakh. That means the Torah and all the books of the Old Testament that you call it, which is the only Testament, by the way. But the Tanakh has it appear in it 7,302 times. Okay? And there's no translation for that. So most of the time they just skip over that. Or they make it be added to another word, but it's no translation. So imagine something being put in the Bible 7,302 times and it's never translated into any language, English or Spanish, because they don't have a word for it. It says, as such, unrepresented in English. And Vanessa also is not in Spanish either. So it's only there in the Hebrew because they don't know what they're trying to say with that A to Z. What does that mean? You know, so they cannot convey and make it sense. So they never translate that one, but it's all over the place. And then I'm going to make you see right now how it is that God thinks as a creator or like a programmer, the one that writes a source code. You know, good thing I went to Control Data Institute early in my life in 1980. I went there to study, you know, COBOL, Fortran, Pascal, different languages to program computers. And I learned about how to assign a commandment to this group of things. And pretty much, if you understand that, if you learn C programming or anything like any language like that, you'll be able to understand that God operates more like that than anybody else because He's a creator and a producer of something that is going to take care of everything. Now He thinks like that. But you know, that's what I want you to keep in mind. This H853 appears 7,302 times in the Bible and is hardly never translated. So we're missing a lot if something appears 7,302 times and they don't explain to us, you know, because it will be too confusing. So they don't even translate it. So he says that, as such, unrepresented in English. So they tell you, sorry, we're not going to tell you what that means in English because we don't know. All right? Because most of the people that translate, you know, remember, language were given to confuse the nations from trying to get rebellious against God and get away with it, with the rebellion. Okay? And so that's what the purpose of language. So you got to go to the original and understand the mindset of God and what He's trying to convey and how He uses it. All right? So this is something. So it says, but when I'm trying to learn when I'm going to get to the other part pretty soon, it says, surely there shall not one of these men of this evil generation shall see that good, that tub, see that, shall see from A to C, that functional land. And here it says, which I swear. And the word swear means here to, it says to feed 7 times. It's like feed to the fullest, to do something 7 times. So He fed them. It's like to input it. This that I input it, that I feed them with, 7 times. To give, natan, is to give. And this part, unto and your, is not a Hebrew word. It's not even here. The only word that is translated is to give, aleph, bet. So this unto your, they try to say, so it makes sense in English, that unto your father, but it's just father here, it's just aleph, bet, just one. So He fed 7 times, or to the fullest, that's what there was the whole idea to feed it. So He inputted it 7 times to give you the aleph, bet. To give you the mindset of the alphabet, because that's what you have to inherit. When you learn the Constitution, when you know the Constitution from A to Z, that you understand, you're getting my expression now, from A to Z, when you learn it thoroughly, He knows everything from A to Z. When somebody tells that about somebody, what does that mean? He has studied it and memorized it. That's what it means. You know something from A to Z. So if you know the Constitution from A to Z, you know all the Bill of Rights from A to Z, would you be easily fooled by all these Democrat governors and everybody that is telling you they're doing their job? No. If all the country knew the Constitution of the United States and the Bill of Rights from A to Z, none of these things would have happened, because you all would have been followers to America. Remember, I'm not a citizen here. I'm just a permanent resident. But I have to learn those things because I work for the United States immigration services. So I had to help them with their interviews. So I was forced to learn those things, but not because it was my choice to become a citizen. So what I'm saying, but if all of you knew from A to Z the Constitution, you would have been a father to the nation. The nation would have been running better than this because you will know how to take care of your neighbor. So because you don't know it, you do not act in the capacity of a father to the nation because you don't have everything from A to Z. So only when you know something from A to Z, you become a father of it, or the founder, or the caretaker of it. You have to know something from A to Z in order to be a father. And that's why he say, Caleb knew the Torah and knew the instructions and knew the heart of God from A to Z. So he wasn't threatened by the size of these people in this land. He gave a good report, And so he was going to inherit the land because he did not have a heart that was fearful of circumstances. He knew that his inheritance was to, express the Father that takes care of all creation. And that Father had just delivered them, to thick and thin, to plagues and famines and everything, and brought them to that land, in the desert land, and he was taking care of them day and night. Hey, he realized, I am with the creator of everything. What can go wrong? He has made all, even those giants, he's made them. He wants to give it to us. He can give it to us. What is there to stop him? In the mindset of the other bed, he knew the whole heart of God from A to Z. That's how you inherit something. But that's why this land has lost everything, because a lot of its citizens are not a father. When you know the Constitution and you know the Bill of Rights, you know everything that has to do with then you know how to take care of this land. Because you want to keep it pristine and clear in the mindset in which these people wanted to create it for, And so that's what it comes down to. All right, so I'm almost getting here to the end. It's time to do some questions, but I wanted to just share a little bit of Genesis here. Genesis 1, verse 1. It says here, there's 6 words here. Beginning is Reshit. It says Reshit, and then it says Elohim, for God, and then created is bara, and then it's again the H853, Et or Aleph Tab or A to Z. It's there again. Remember, 7,302 times, and it's never translated, and it's not translated here. They have for the word created bara, and then they word for the word heaven, they have the word Shamayim, is for heaven, and for the word earth, they have Eretz. Okay? So this word Et is just like that in Hebrew, which just means Aleph Tab from A to Z, and it's not translated there at all. All right, so I'm just going to bring the old one I have here so that you will see what I'm talking about. I'm going to put it up. Okay. Bring it down. Okay. Oh, okay. Oh, no, I got to take it out. I'm sorry. Here we go. Now, I have here, I'm going to bring this all the way down. Okay, so these are the things. One thing I wanted to explain to you is this 2 verses here. Genesis 1:1, in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth. That's how we translate it in English. And then the word beginning and the word created that you see in English have been translated from the Hebrew to mean beginning and created. Beginning is Reshit and created is bara. Okay, those 2 words are also in this verse. Psalm 229, I believe it's 1 Samuel 2:29. Wherefore kick ye at my sacrifice and at mine offering, which I have commanded in my habitation, and honorest thy sons above me, to make yourself fat with the chiefest of all the offerings of Israel my people. Now, if I ask you, when you're reading in English, the word that is translated beginning and created, where does that word appears here in the Hebrew? Can you tell from 1 Samuel 2:29? Okay, it's impossible to tell. So you have to know the Hebrew. So the word for create in 1 Samuel 2:29 that is translated is fat. to fatten somebody, to make somebody to fill it up. And the word reshit is the word chiefest. That's the word translated in English here as chiefest. That's the word reshit. That means in the beginning. That's how it's translated there. But it's the word reshit just means in the main one, in the principal one, it just talks about the priority of things, okay? So there's different ways in which it's translated, okay? Appears like 51 times, but it's translated in many different ways, like the beginning, or to fatten somebody, or to fill something, or to be the main thing. So the thing is, that's why you need to know the Hebrew letters, okay? So one thing you need to understand, the other way that it can be translated, Reshit could be translated as, first of all, that's one way of saying Reshit, or in the first place, because that's what it means. It's just putting something, And then also could it mean at the summit, because at the summit is at the high peak of a mountain, the highest part of the mountain, and also they call a summit when they have the main meeting of negotiations to do something important. Okay? And then you can think for Elohim, to put him in, I'm putting it in modern language. Elohim is the people that have the power to make decisions and do things like that. So the think tank, that will be Elohim, the equivalent of our time. So first of all, or in the first place, at the summit, the think tank filled out, because the word barar, create, means to fill out or to fatten. Okay? So first of all, in the first place, at the summit, the think tank, which means Elohim, fatten or created, or configured. Is that more modern language? Configure is to fill it out with all the instructions. And then, since they leave out A to Z, I put it in there. Then it's configured from A to Z, the heavens and the earth. They put all the instructions from A to Z because God is the keeper of words. That's why he puts A to Z. Because you got to learn and memorize it. That's what he keeps. He memorizes and he keeps it. So it says, first of all, in the first place, at the summit, the think tank filled out or configured from A to Z, the heavens and the earth. So when you read it like that, then you find that there is no place in that translation to create time and space. It's all in the head of God. So that's why it has to be in the Resh. That's why it starts with Reshit. It's the R for the head. In the head of God. So there's an interesting thing of saying, so because of the translation in the beginning and all that, people have make up ideas that time is very pertinent in space. The only one that thought about, I'm almost going to do the question. I want to give a lot of money today because I know I exhausted your patience. So just hang in there. I won't disappoint you. But the idea of time, Chronos is the god of time. And Horos is another god that has to do with time. So Chronos, which means chronology, has to do with the keeping of time, right? And Horos, from Horos we get the word hour. It's called Horos. It's another deity that was made, and they were all in charge of time. You can do your investigation on that. But these are the gods that think that something that is going to come to you is coming from time. As time progresses, you're going to get this, you're going to get all the good things is coming from time, and time has ability to give you the things that need. That's why all these people, all the scientists believe in Chronos. They believe that those millions of years form us. So they think that time is creating everything because Chronos is a creator that creates everything in time. And so everybody that creates that believes that there's something you're getting out of time, you are a believer in the whole deity of Chronos. That's what you believe in. But if you look at the translation which Moses gave it, so first of all, in the first place, at the summit, the think tank, the ones that make the decision, to write policies and everything, they filled out or configured from A to Z what the heaven's going to be and what the earth is going to be. So when you see that, then you understand that it's not talking about getting something from time. What you need is already in the mindset of God, and that's what you need is to line up with it. Everybody that creates a business does exactly this. This is the model, the model for everybody that creates a business. They first of all, they get together, they have a summit, they have a negotiation, they think tank, they become a think tank, they decide what to do, they fill out, they make the schematics and the plan, they fill it out, they configure it from A to Z, and then they create the building, the ceilings, they're breaking the ground, and they create everything inside that building. So everything, this is a pattern for everybody that is a creator to follow. And that's exactly what I'm translating it more like in the original sense. So you understand, It takes you out of the worship that time is bringing you something, so you can serve your maker in the here and now. You can acquire all of that by keeping his words. All right. So, let me start asking questions right now. For the first $50, all right? All right, let me go to something here when I don't have, I can put you guys in here. Let me put this down. All right, and now let me bring this up here. Let me bring you guys so I can start asking you the questions. All right, I have you here. All right. Okay. All right. Yeah, I know I was, I started tagging and then it just gave me the message, you're not allowed to tag for restrictions reasons. They want to restrict me, I guess. But here we go, the first question. Okay. Okay, for $50. All right. For $50. Okay. I was explaining that when we come into this world, there are many places where we get to see the expression of the main house or the main compartment, the picture of what the God is, a strong tower, the main house or the main compartment that supplies our needs and our comforts. We get to see it expressed in many places, okay? But where is the first place where we get to experience it right away when we come into this world? Where is the first place where we get to experience the presence of the Aleph Bet? Can somebody give me an answer? $50. Let me get to that here, you guys. Okay, good. All right. Water. Okay, that's part of it. Yeah, but where? Where, in what place? It's a particular place. That, yeah, mom and dad. Okay, yes, that's not the first place. Okay, where's the first place that you begin to feel the presence? There's one mother's. Okay, I think you have it right, Andy, but I don't think you're spelling it right. You're talking about, what do you mean by moon? Okay. Okay, Rosa Crispin said it correct. Mother's womb. Correct. Oh, no, I'm so sorry. Brian said it first. Yeah, in the womb. Okay. Brian said it first. So this is a very important one. So I'm going to give $50 to Brian and $50 to Rosa. All right. So Brian and Rosa, $50. Exactly. In the mother's womb, that's the picture of the Aleph Bet, the compartment that supplies your needs and your comforts. Okay, and inside of that compartment, what is the water, right? And water represents strong solutions, which is the meaning of mother. Okay, so we understand. So right away, we begin to experience, the aspect of that, all right? Okay, now, very good. So I have $50 there for Brian and for Rosa Crispin. All right, now let's see. Here we go. Let me write it down. Now, the next $50. Write it down here. What is the word that appears 7,302 times in the Tanakh and is not translated? What are the two letters? You can say it in English or in Hebrew. It's fine. You can win $50. What are the two letters that are not translated into English or any other language, but are very important? Okay. Let's see. All right. Let me see. Oh, you say how it's pronounced. Okay. Let me see here. Okay. But I'm sorry, Brian, I cannot take you in because you already won something. There has to be a chance for somebody else. Okay. So let me see what's said after that. The two letters you cannot. Yet. Okay. You have the pronunciation right, Rosa, but then again, you want to. You gotta let this be given to somebody else. You gotta remember, guys, the first prize you win, you gotta let somebody else say it. Okay? You cannot win twice. You gotta let somebody else join. Okay. So I'm not taking those guys, so somebody better say it because they already said it. You say either the first one that says either what Brian said or Rosa says, they will get the $50. What are the two letters? Okay, Brianna Duran. No, Barra means to create, and that is in there. That's spelled out create. But there are two letters that I was showing you. There are two letters, and that in English it means the first one and the last one. What letters are those? You can say it either in English or Spanish that is not translated. Okay. All right. Well, so far you're the closest one, Andy. So I'm gonna let Andy have it, okay? Because it has the E and the T. What's for A? But it's Aleph and Tab. It's the first letter Aleph and the last letter Tab. Okay. Those are the letters that I told you. There's H53. That's the concordance number, and that appears 7,302 times in the Bible, and it's not translated. So that's A to C. That is that everything that God does, He does it from A to C, trying to make us understand that He has to know it and memorize it, and He wants us to have that mindset, okay? Because everything is going to be done in the order of the words, and the order of the words is the reality of everything. Okay, so I'll give Andy, I'll give you $50 for this. All right. Okay, let me give you another $50. All right. Another $50 here. Now the question now. Okay, so we talk about it says in the beginning. That's one word that appears there, and I told you that appears different in First Samuel 2:29 for Bereshit, which is in the beginning in Genesis. In First Samuel it says the chiefest, okay, and then in First Samuel for the word bara, in First Samuel it says fat, okay, but what does it say in Genesis first for the word bara? Instead of fat, what does it say? Okay, the beginning of a sheet. And don't be getting there, Brian. Don't do it yet. I'm going to give you a chance for everybody to get in a minute. But God what, bear fruit? The beginning creation. Andy, you guys already have money here. Barefoot, you didn't finish spelling. Okay, barefoot, you got it. Barefoot got it. Created. It's the word created. Okay, created is bara, which means to fill out or to configure, from A to C. That's more or less the right definition. So I'm giving you the right definition today so you understand that we are here to acquire the mindset of God above all things, okay? And now, let me see here. So we have Brian $50, Rosa Crispin $50, Andy $50, and $50 for bear fruit. All right, and I'm also gonna give, but no more questions. I'm just gonna give $50 to Brianna Duran for your daughter's birthday. I know your Lexi's birthday was today, and so to help you with your daughter there, give her a nice present, something on my behalf. I'm gonna give you $50, okay? So happy birthday! Say happy birthday to your daughter for me, and you're gonna get $50. Okay, Brianna Duran, I'm gonna get $50. All right, so Total $250 being given today. So it's a good day. All right. So Brianna, remember that. Don't worry about it. You're gonna get that. Their daughter is called Alexandria, I believe, and so they had a birthday today. I'm gonna give her that for that. So happy birthday to Lexi. That's her daughter's name. So say happy birthday to Lexi for me, Brianna. But you tried. That was good. Uh, yeah. So let me see here. All right. So very good, you guys. I appreciate your time. I hope you've learned something. We're gonna go over this next week because this is the Sunday that they talk about the Saturday, the Shabbat or Bereshit of the beginning. So it's good that we're talking about this. But you understand that if you translate it that way, then everything has to do in the being in the mindset of a creator and to keep the order of words. Because it's right there. I'm not making it up. It's been there for thousands of years, but nobody cared to translate it. Good thing I'm a translator, I dig deep into words. So that's why I guess God raised me up for this hour to translate everything word for word. And so that's what we're doing. So thank you for your time. And I'm just going to close with a little commercial here. Let me see what we can use. The story mode.